Welcome to the Networking with Michelle podcast, the show dedicated on providing you the how-tos of marketing and networking strategies. Here we believe in the Jim Rohn quote, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Networking with Michelle. Very excited as I am going to do a Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit recap episode. And if you don't follow Black Enterprise, well known for the actual magazine. I've been reading this magazine since I was a teenager, and I get the emails, and they have multiple conferences throughout the year. And this year, the last week, the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit was in Houston, Texas. So glad it was in my city, in my backyard. Didn't have to worry about travel, and I had the privilege to attend, and it was everything I needed at the right time. And what I mean by that is the simple fact that I'm very happy where I am personally and professionally. And there's always that tug of war of sustaining and growing your business, because that's usually as you grow, things tend to fall off. I think it's just the nature of the beast. But I had a chance to really reconnect with familiar faces and meet some new people and getting advice on the spot, which is priceless sometimes because you never know. I always believe you never know who you're going to meet and what it's going to lead to. So when people take time to initiate and engage and advise you on the spot, I think that means more to me, more so than, talking to a friend or whatever. So some of the things that I experienced, first of all, I got to give shout out to Jonathan Sprinkles. I did not hear him speak, but as always, I heard he rocked the house. So shout out to Jonathan Sprinkles. I attended the Black Banks Matter to Your Business session for a few minutes, and I was really impressed on two things. And I did a quick video on Instagram about this. But one United Bank, they had declared themselves to be unapologetically Black. And what they mean by that is they have made the conscious decision to say that our products and services cater to the African American community, whether it's from second chance checking to premier checking to way they have their debit cards designed. I forgot what they named the debit cards, but they have one as a face of a Black girl, another as a face of a Black boy with the hoodie on, representative of Trayvon Martin, which I just thought was sincere and brilliant to take pride in our excellence. Believe it's Liberty Trust Bank. They have a partnership with the National Black Chamber of Commerce where they have a Black card. It's a credit card that I don't know if it's for everybody or just for chamber members, but overall, I just thought the concept was really cool. And that's one thing that I've been struggling in my business is really, I guess, the phrase being unapologetically Black, because I do want to serve. It's like I want to serve my community with the notion that I'm contributing, and with that contribution, that people are impacted and they're lifted up in action, right? Not just listening, but listening and taking action of not just what I say, but what the guests that I bring on here. And I'm always going to have a variety of guests, white, Hispanic, whatever. But at the same time, I also want those guests to understand that, like, you're coming on my show to reach a predominantly African American millennial audience, right? Because maybe that's an audience you've been struggling with. Maybe that's an audience that they haven't been able to reach, and that's why they're coming on my show. And I've been struggling with that. I've been thinking about that, and I'm like, is that something you say? Is that something you put on marketing material? Is that something that, you verbalize day in and day out? So for me to hear that from the banks, yes, they're Black banks, it was a little confirmation. And I still got to work through that. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm just glad at where they stand. And we have to treat our Black businesses better. One of the ladies was saying that obviously last year when Killer Mike and a lot of the celebrities in Atlanta created that surge of supporting Black banks, they've gone from doing, 8, 10, 50 opening checking accounts, savings accounts a day to opening hundreds and thousands of deposit accounts a day. But one of the ladies was saying that people were even calling her, like interviewing her, is my money safe? Asking her all kinds of questions. And she's like, I know for sure you're not calling the executive, let alone the president, Jamie Dimon, or whomever at JP Morgan Chase, at Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. And I believe, one, we have to treat our Black banks differently. We have to treat our Black businesses differently. And our banks, our Black banks, that's the foundation for Black business. That's the foundation for Black economics. And it's a cycle. It is a cycle, and we have to do better as we continue to go through that cycle to support our community. So that's one thing I enjoyed on Thursday session. Black Banks Matter for your business. Also, peeped in Lamar Tyler Online Sales Lab, a piece of his Traffic Sales and Profit. I'm always hyping him and his wife up. Make sure you join the Facebook group, Traffic Sales and Profit with Lamar Tyler. And the brother's always on point. I really can't say much. I even turned around and attended his training on Saturday, so I might get into that a little bit later. Friday morning, they opened up with Hill Harper. This brother was off the chain. I'm a fan of his. I've seen him in a couple of things. Big fan of CSI New York, even though it doesn't come on anymore. And I know he's ran some books, and he's been in Houston forever. I haven't been able to see him. But this brother is a dynamic speaker, absolutely dynamic speaker. I was blown away. And there's things that I've known about him. I've known he had, I believe, throat cancer, but I was really impressed on his entrepreneurship and some of the investing he's done, like how he went to Detroit and decided to open up a coffee shop employing Black kids so they can have their first job. And had a conversation with Magic Johnson, and Magic was like, hey, that's what I was trying to do with Starbucks, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out. But maybe you can do it. Maybe you can open up an independent coffee shop and take care of our own. So I thought that was really cool. He talked about the cancer situation and how, obviously he survived it, but how we're always putting not just eating, but we're putting these products on our body, and we don't know what we're putting on our body, and it's not healthy for us. And from that, he's been able to create a skincare line. I believe it's called H2L, and it's a subscription box for men and women. And his thesis is, healthy, high-end skincare products at a reasonable price. I looked at the price, and I believe it's $29 a month, and you'll pay, it's monthly, but they send you a box every 2 months. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to check that out. I may purchase it later on this year. But what I like about this brother right here is that he provides solutions. Right. And lots of times everyone's talking about the challenges and all the changes that need to go about. And some of us, we are putting our efforts, but we can only do so much. But he is literally getting his hands, his feet dirty, and he's providing solutions to our community. And not just where he lives. I don't even know where he's from, but it's easy to think he's an actor, he's in New York, and he only does stuff in New York. But he didn't have to go to Detroit and buy that coffee shop. He went to New Orleans, and his friend wanted him to invest in a hotel. It's like a 5-star hotel in New Orleans, only Black-owned 5-star hotel in New Orleans with a predominantly Black population. And, he didn't have to do that. But once again, he always puts himself in a position to provide solutions. And I think that was the biggest thing that I got from his speech. And I just pray that God can equip me mentally and physically to position myself to provide solutions for people in my community. I thought that was real cool. I follow Ramon Ray. He is a personal brand, social media a technology expert. I had a chance of meeting him last year at the Small Business Expo here in Houston, joined his Facebook group, received his magazine, Smart Hustle magazine. Just a very energetic, charismatic brother. I encourage you to check him out. And he did his thing on personal branding, on how you can become like a local celebrity entrepreneur in your community. So that was cool. Listening to him, I just felt like I'm right on track. Like I'm doing things right, and eventually I got to do more, and things are going to be bigger and better. And it's just a matter of time. So it was really cool listening to him. Did a couple of promo videos, pitch videos, and different booths, different vendors. And shout out to Houston Area Urban League, National Urban League, Twice Media Productions, the Bullstar Group. They were all vendors, had some awesome booths, had a good time working with them or doing the videos with them. And just a lot of networking, I really feel like some things are going to explode over the next 6 to 12 months. It's going to be real, y'all. So y'all tune in, keep listening, keep following up with me, or following me on social media. I feel it coming, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited about my future. So very, very grateful. So at the summit, I was actually able to snag a couple of interviews. So we're about to cut into one interview for today, and I'm going to save the other one for tomorrow. For Wednesday. But today, words of wisdom, I was blessed to run into a beautiful lady, beautiful soul, Tandelyn Weaver, and her friend, I believe Debra Anderson, and they are with Windsor Village United Methodist Church here in Houston, Texas, led by Pastor Kirbyjon Caldwell. And I haven't attended the church, but through my leadership program, been able to see the church, and they offer a lot of services for the community. And the pastor and the church, they're really big on entrepreneurship, overall professional development, and just the overall community. And we had a chance to kind of talk about some of the business initiatives as well as the nonprofit aspect, our nonprofit services, all of the services that the church offers. And I think it was just a cool interview. I think if you're a Houstonian, you will definitely enjoy this. And so just a few announcements before we get into that part of the interview. Is very short, but always appreciative. Once again, shout out to Lamar Tyler, Traffic Sales and Profit. He is holding a conference June 9th and 10th in Atlanta, Georgia, called TSP, Traffic Sales and Profit Live. Check him out, trafficsalesandprofitlive.com. That's a conference you definitely want to attend. I will have those links in the show notes. Also, this episode is sponsored by Xero, beautiful accounting software. You can start your free trial today. I hope you enjoy this episode, Words of Wisdom by Mrs. Weaver and Mrs. Anderson. Hey everyone, welcome to the Networking with Michelle show. Today we are at the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit, and I'm going to interview Mrs. Weaver and Mrs. Anderson with, where are you at what church?
The Kingdom Builders Center, and Debra Anderson is with the Power Center.
I'm with Pyramid Community Development Corporation, doing business at the Power Center. Both of these entities are separate nonprofit organizations birthed out of Windsor Village United Methodist Church.
In Houston, Texas.
Absolutely. We're in Houston, Texas today. So what made you attend the conference these past couple of days?
For me, because I love entrepreneurship, it's always a wonderful opportunity to find out what new information could be applicable. Not only for me, but I have programs that help young entrepreneurs and old entrepreneurs as well. So I thought if I learned some new tools and meet new folks, I might get some new information.
There you go. What about yourself, Mrs. Anderson?
I'm not an entrepreneur like Miss Weaver, but I run a nonprofit, which is really just like being an entrepreneur. And I do have entrepreneurial aspirations at this stage in my life. So for me, I came to get some fresh water. Sometimes when we're working in the we get involved in the conundrums of the day-to-day operations, and we're not getting anything new. And this gave me an opportunity to get refreshed and revitalized and excited to possibly learn something new.
I know, obviously, the emphasis here today is entrepreneurs, and a lot of my audience, we focus on business as well as being corporate, right? But what are some ways that we can support nonprofits within our community?
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, one of the ways you can support nonprofits is by volunteering. We always need the expertise of individuals who have gotten corporate experience to help bring it into the nonprofit world. One of the reasons why that's so important is because in most cases, nonprofits don't have the ability to pay for expertise at a corporate rate. And so someone willing to donate their time, whether it's for an event or whether it's for, once a month or whether it's for a project, it's very helpful to do that. So by volunteering would be one way.
Okay. I'm familiar with Windsor Village because I'm part of the Houston Black Leadership Institute, and they actually hosted one of our meetings there. Well, at the new Power Center. I'm getting a little confused. So I think that's why I'm more familiar with your side of the building or the community. But let's talk about both buildings, but some of the services that are offered to the community. Let's start with you, Mrs. Weaver.
Well, our particular building, the Kingdom Builder Center, is host to Windsor Village United Methodist Church under the leadership of Pastor Kirbyjon Caldwell. Through the church, there are many programs that are offered to the community, both for children, for men, for women, for marrieds, for singles, and just an array. So there are a lot of programming that comes through the church. Now, both Debra and I also have special interests that are outside. It supports the church. It's just not being offered as programming through the church. So I do something called the Construction Contractors College. And these are for folks both young and old who have decided they want to participate in this billion-dollar industry of construction in Houston.
Wow.
So I have put together a 7-month program to help them really understand what does it take to be successful in terms of certification, access to capital, marketing, getting loans, etc. So that, and also the Entrepreneur Learning Center, which offers a variety of courses for all entrepreneurs, whether you are in podcasting or whether you are in baking or whether you want to do fashion design or that kind of thing.
Gotcha. And what about yourself? So, some of the services.
So the Power Center was actually created to provide an underserved community with much needed e-commerce, or commerce in an underserved area. So basically the services we provide would be services that anybody in the community can take advantage of. So overall, we provide rental space. There's a Chase Bank in that building. Before we were there probably was not a Chase Bank within a 7-mile radius. There's an eye doctor, a medical doctor, a barbershop, a beauty shop. There are entrepreneurial suites, 27 of them, that house individuals who are either mom and pops that are coming out of their home and this is their first time getting an office, or people who are, again, who just need a small amount of office space. Our crown jewel is the conference center, which is a conference center with over 20,000 square feet of meeting space. We can actually host an event as small as 10 people and as large as 1,200 people banquet style with a full commercial kitchen and an executive chef. So those are some of the for-profit things that are actually offered. There's also a WIC building, so there's a social services side to it as well. So women, if you're familiar with the Women, Infant, and Children program that's offered by the state of Texas, it's, I think, a nutrition program. There's also an office in there that Windsor Village runs for people who are having problems paying their rent, paying their light bill. They can come there and, again, receive services there. Just like Tandelyn, I have things that are near and dear to my heart. I'm a former banker. So there are two things that we actually offer. One is called the Houston Career Initiative, which is an initiative that provides skills to the unemployed and the underemployed. So we offer skills like resume writing, interviewing skills, how to negotiate an offer, how to network as well. Most of our participants are individuals who are not millennials, but who are Tandelyn's age and my age, who have been employed with someone for 15, 20 years, and now they're being downsized, right-sized, and they have not written a resume in over 20 years. They haven't interviewed in over 20 years. So we have partnered with a group called JS 101, which is comprised of about 10 HR professionals who come in and provide those classes. As a former banker, financial literacy is near and dear to my heart as well. And so we also have offered, it's not in session right now, but we have offered a financial literacy program also, again, to teach people about credit building and how to budget and just those sort of things as well.
Now, do we have to be a member of the church to benefit from any of these services?
Absolutely not. Pastor Caldwell's heart is that of community building, and many of the nonprofits that have been birthed out of Windsor Village were birthed because, again, they started in the church, and people outside of the church came and took advantage of these services as well. So no, you do not have to be a member of Windsor Village to participate in anything that's being hosted at the Power Center.
That's good.
Or the KBC.
That's good. As we wrap up, I want to give you a moment. What is some of the best advice you can just give the audience? We're in our late 20s, early 30s right now. It doesn't have to be necessarily business advice. It could just good old life advice. All right?
So one of the things that I would like to share with you is that nothing is life and death. You will make some mistakes. You will take the wrong turn, and you don't let that defeat you. So if you will keep the attitude and the spirit that this is all a part of the journey, it is not the destination. And don't let it beat yourself down. In fact, the greatest part of who beats yourself down is your own thoughts. Most people won't even say some of the things they say to themselves to their friends. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And know that every no is taking you closer to a yes. Just because you have a great idea does not mean that everyone will see your vision at that moment. But it might take 99 no's to get to that last yes. And that's the goal, is to get to the yes.
I love it. What about yourself?
Piggyback a little bit off of Tandelyn, in addition to what she says, and I ditto that 100%, the other advice I would give is take the time to build your balcony. What is a balcony? A balcony would consist of a group of individuals that will help support you in the journey. Now, oftentimes we want to pick up business mentors, but you need to also have as a part of your balcony a very good counselor, and I mean an emotional counselor. Most of us come into the environments that we're in with a boatload of baggage. We come from families that are dysfunctional. Many of us have come from backgrounds where we were told there's only so much that we can accomplish because of where we've come from and what we look like. So the bottom line is you need a therapist to help you work through and walk through that so that you don't live that out. So I would say get a counselor, emotional counselor. You need to also have, a career coach. Is very important as well. You need someone to kick you in the butt and encourage you to do what you've never done before. Have one or two very good friends as a part of your balcony who will tell you the truth. You don't need people in your life who will always amen you. You need people who will look you in the face and tell you that your boo-boo does stink, because it really does. Excuse me for being graphic. So I would include that person, that someone like that in the balcony as well. But comprise yourself. And then, of course, people who will applaud you as well.
I love it both. I speak highly. I'm a big advocate on therapy. I have a therapist. I talk about it very openly on my show. We can do both, right? We can have a therapist and we can go to church and seek help in various forms. So thank you for that. And I really love the balcony concept. Thank you both. I'm going to have the link to the name of the church and the link to this church in the show notes, so everyone's going to have access to that. And I just want to thank you both for your time. So you were about to run. Mrs. Anderson was about to run away. I'm so glad she stayed. So thank you both. And I remember, I believe in you, and a personal connection leads to an influential network. So thanks for networking with Michelle.